This is Superyacht News. In association with Go Earth, navigating boat buyers to better deals.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So there's been a number of articles in the last week or so about the recent sale of a vessel or a boat called U81. It is not the one that's on screen right now. It is a support vessel built by Damen Shipyards. None of the articles you may or may not have read online have told you who the buyer is, which we're going to give you in this video. I'll give you a clue who the buyer is. He recently purchased a 118-meter superyacht built for the Russian Vladimir Potanin, but because of the sanctions, he was unable to take delivery of that vessel in the Netherlands. At the same time, he purchased a support vessel, which he renamed Wingman. The man, of course, we're talking about is Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg. Yes, unbelievably, he has purchased a third vessel / yacht. This is according to a source who has a very good track record of giving us accurate information. Of course, wants to remain anonymous. This is primarily a support vessel, but it has the ability to carry guests and is finished to superyacht standards. Now, the vessel was built by Damen, as I said, Damen Shipyards in the Netherlands, and was originally built as an offshore support vessel or platform, and that was in the 2010s, and then it was later converted to a superyacht support vessel in 2022. I believe that work was also done by Damen. Now, the converted yacht support vessel was purchased by Graham Hart to support his yacht Here Comes the Sun. I'm sure you know Graham Hart if you've been watching the channel. He built those two yachts in Norway, Ulysses and Andromeda, and he sold those vessels and he bought Here Comes the Sun, and he bought this was his support vessel. Graham Hart has just taken delivery of a new yacht called Ulysses, which we featured on the channel recently, and he has no use for this other yachts, always chasing the shiny objects, and he put Here Comes the Sun and U81 up for sale. Now, despite the relatively short time that vessel's been in service as a yacht support vessel, it's already had a number of refits. Last one was carried out in 2024, only finishing in January of this year. The vessel was refitted with new stabilizers, amongst other upgrades to hydraulics and things on board. Vessel's an 80-meter or 262-foot vessel. What's a support vessel, you may be asking? It carries enormous space for many toys such as tenders and helicopters and whatever you might want to carry, jet skis, things like that. Now, this vessel is the largest yacht built by Damen Shipyards, coming in at just under 3,000 gross tons.
Now, how much did he pay for this vessel? Well, the vessel is valued at approximately $100 million. I'm not sure if that's how much he paid for it, but it is certainly in that region. Upkeep of a vessel of that value is about $10 to $15 million a year.
Now, why he feels like he needs a second support vessel, I don't know. Only Mark Zuckerberg will know that. It's possible he's going to replace the other vessel, Wingman, and sell that vessel and have this one as a new one because it's a bigger support vessel. It's possible that he's going to keep the other vessel and have one in one location and then one on the other side of the world. Who knows? But why have one when you can have two at twice the price, right? So yeah, so Mark Zuckerberg has purchased this vessel. We're breaking that news here. You won't have read that anywhere else online. Nobody else is reporting who the new owner is. So anyway, we'll move on. Feadship has launched their latest superyacht, Project 827, measuring 71.76 meters, so we'll call it 72 meters. This yacht, described by Feadship as forward-thinking, is now ready for final outfitting and sea trials. Feadship also explained that this future-focused approach combines IMO Tier 3 compliant generators with electric thrusters, ensuring a cruising experience that is quieter, cleaner, and more responsive, with a system that is engineered to support sustainable energy solutions. Now, the thing about the electric thrusters, they're like an Azipod system. They don't have shafts, so the shaft normally causes vibration throughout the ship. Normally subtle vibration, but there is a marked difference when you go on a vessel that has electric thrusters. You can notice it's a lot smoother. The Tier 3 that they mentioned there is like Euro 7 for the car, European cars, but that's for yachts. Tier 3 refers to international maritime organizations emission standards for nitrogen oxides emissions from marine diesel engines. These standards are part of the IMO's efforts to reduce air pollution from ships and improve the air quality in coastal areas and port cities. Now, ships subject to IMO Tier 3 standards must comply with stricter limits on nitrogen oxide emissions compared to ships operating outside of the ECAs, which is an emission control area. The Tier 3 nitrogen oxides emission limits are typically around 70 to 80% lower than the limits for engines not subject to Tier 3 requirements, meaning that they're not allowed to produce as much nitrogen oxides. You know, the lower amount that's the regulation. So there's better. Now, some of the areas requiring Tier 3, English Channel, Baltic regions, North America, Mediterranean, I'm not sure if they've signed up to it yet, but they are signing up. Whether they've done so already, I'm not sure. So obviously, you know, not the entire world is using the regulations, but if you think about it, you've got your brand new, you know, $200 million yacht, and you want to go anywhere you please, right? So if you want to go in the Mediterranean or North America or the Caribbean, parts of the Caribbean, then you need the Tier 3 emissions standards. So there's no real point building a yacht that doesn't have it now, because it's not backward compatible, but all new yachts are required to have Tier 3. Otherwise, you can't go in the Mediterranean, you can't go to North America, you know, you can't go to certain parts of the Caribbean, and you can't go to the Baltic regions as well. That's on the list as well. So, you know, most yachts now will be built to Tier 3 standards. So, contrary to popular belief, there are limits on emissions from yachts also, because a lot of people seem to think they're allowed to do whatever they want and burn whatever they want, but that's not the case. Now, Richard Lambert, senior partner at Burgess, commented to Feadship and said, "It's been a pleasure to have worked hand in hand with the owner and Feadship for Project 827. Our close collaboration has resulted in a contemporary, elegant design with an impressive volume." So that's a comment from Burgess Yachts. At least Feadship are able to get a response from Burgess when they try to, where we've been unable. Now it's getting, I feel like I'm a bit of a stalker now trying to get in touch with them. So yeah. But anyway, moving on. Unusually, the owner's cabin is on the fore end of the deck. And it's where a lot of yachts now are put in the bridge. So they've actually raised the bridge to the deck above, which is great. You know, I always make comments about not liking the bridge to be too low down. That's just the thing that I comment on frequently. Yeah, they've raised the bridge up and then they've made that area there. So that's normally a panoramic lounge that they have in that area. And they've put the owner's cabin there instead. So he's going to have a great view when he wakes up, right? Now, all the guest accommodation also is on the main deck, which is unusual. If you go back and look at our yacht tours, you'll see that usually the guest decks are on the deck below. So you have to go down a set of stairs to get to those. Whereas here, they're all on the main deck, which means they've got larger windows, increased deckhead height or ceiling height, which enhances the sense of space, right? I would imagine there's some sort of beach club as well, which is not mentioned, but the fact is, if you look at the photographs, you can see that the tender garages are on the bow section there. So that usually means that they've left space on the stern for a beach club. It's an interesting vessel. It was originally commissioned by Steve Wynn, but Feadship bought the vessel and sold it to Roberto Marinho. He owns one of the biggest media groups in Brazil. He's also the owner of the Amel's yacht Stella M. So yeah, interesting. Anyway, vessel's going for final fitting, and then it'll be delivered probably later this year. Okay, we've got one more thing before I go. The salvage operation to raise the sunken sailing yacht Bayesian has been delayed a few more days. The start of the operation to raise the hull of the yacht that sank in August last year was pushed back to the 30th of April. So the operation should have started yesterday. As we mentioned in the previous video, the company involved in the salvage is Smith International, that they oversaw the raising of the Costa Concordia. And another company, Hebo Marine, they're using two floating platforms to raise the vessel. One of them is called Hebo Lift 2, which is, I believe, is on site now. It was almost there yesterday. I'll put some AIS footage so you can see. And Hebo Lift 10, which is also on the way there. The Port Authority released a statement about what's going to happen in the area while the recovery operations are going. They said, like I said, start on the April 30th, so it should be underway now. They said there'll be a working cordon of 650 meters from the point where the sailboat is located on the seabed. which lies about 50 meters down. The area will be closed from the 30th of April until the recovery is completed. In these areas, in this cordon, it's forbidden to sail any vessels in there, to anchor, stop with any boat. Scuba diving and bathing and fishing activities are also prohibited. Overflight is also prohibited in the area. Once recovered, the Bayesian will be transported to the port of Termini Imerice. Now, the original dates were the 15th of April to the 26th of April, I believe, which is about 11 days, right? Then they got pushed back to the 20th of April until the 1st of May. Now it's the 30th of April, so hopefully they'll be completed by the 11th of May. The possibility of more delays, so stay tuned and we'll keep you up to date. All right, guys, be sure to check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/eSysman. We're on the road now, as you might have noticed, so there's going to be videos on there about our trips and behind the scenes stuff from our travels, so check it out, patreon.com/eSysman. We posted 2 videos there already this week as well. And also, if you want to send anything to us, you can contact us in the email address here. And if you've got photos or videos, you can contact us through the link here at theyachtReport.wetransfer.com. You do not need an account for that. You just go to that link, which is in the description of this video, and it will present you with a box where you can upload the stuff that you want to send to us. All right, guys, be sure to like this video, very important for the algorithm. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for future notifications. Take it easy, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.